parents and players fought their way toward having football this fall. Their most challenging season ever begins tonight.
Plus, the state successfully turns the tables on the multi-million-dollar ministry suing it. The Labor Department admits to overpaying as many as 9,000 people in unemployment benefits.
I just truly don't have faith that they're going to be able to figure this out.
And we go 360 on the Gallagher Amendment and what repealing it could mean for the cost of living and doing business in Colorado.
Gallagher has outlived its usefulness. Does this inhibit business from coming to Colorado? Absolutely.
All of your residential property taxes would go up significantly.
And good evening, and thanks for watching Denver 7. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Shannon Ogden, welcoming you to coverage of the strangest high school football season in memory.
If outbreaks among college and pro teams are anything to go on, well, the next few weeks will come with challenges. Parents, players, and teams insist they can and will rise to the occasion.
Denver 7's Addie Guajardo joins us tonight from Arvada, one of the first games of the season. Chaparral Wolverines take on the Pomona Panthers. Good evening, Addie.
Well, Shannon and Ann, this is a game that parents and students have been waiting for, and we just saw the kickoff happening right now. But tonight feels and looks just so different. Take a look around. Fans have been trickling in slowly into this game. Football players on the field, complete opposite sides, cheerleaders separated as well. Now, this game, 600 tickets were up for grabs for this game, 300 tickets per school. That means that even those tickets were divided into 4 sections out here on the field. Those 4 sections also have areas that are socially distancing people to make sure everyone is safe. Now, everyone out here is required to wear a mask unless they're a player on the field. They have also put in guidelines to make sure that the players are staying at least 6 feet apart on the sidelines. They look a little bit closer than that right now. We spoke to a parent who says she is just excited to be out here. She says that sweet sound of the football whistle, when that goes off, they know it's game on.
We are super excited. We are just happy to be playing football and get the kids back out there doing what they love.
Everybody's got their masks, so we're going to cheer them on and let's play football.
Now every team will play 6 regular season games and must play 4 to qualify for postseason. This gives them a break just in case they need to cancel a game due to COVID-19 concerns. And tonight there's going to be 12 games being played across Colorado. We'll be at this game all night long, so make sure to tune in at 10 and we'll bring you all the latest details. Reporting live in Arvada, Addie Guajardo, Denver 7.
All right, Addie, thank you very much. You might want to ask off work early. The Broncos game against the Patriots has been moved to Monday. It's going to be played at 3:05. The moves then gives New England time to practice. They've been locked out of their facility since players started testing positive for the virus. More details on this ahead in sports. Colorado reporting 863 cases of the coronavirus today.
And only twice have the daily numbers been higher, once in April, another in late July. An additional 7 people have died. The state will likely see its 2,000th death by the weekend.
A Southern Colorado church has dropped a lawsuit against Governor Polis, at least for now. Andrew Womack Ministries believes it should be allowed to host hundreds of people at its Woodland Park campus, to the point where it took the state to court and then ignored the rules when it didn't get its way. But this week, the state flipped the script, asking a judge to shut down an ongoing conference and others like it. And once a judge agreed to hear that argument, Womack pulled out and decided to fight another day. Now, Teller County wants to fight right now. Late this evening, it filed its own complaint over the ministry's refusal to follow public health standards.
The state labor department saying tonight that 9,000 people were paid too much in unemployment benefits. On Tuesday, we spoke with a family. They told us was told to repay the state $6,000 they weren't supposed to receive. Well, now the labor board is admitting the language on the unemployment forms is confusing and has opened the door to clearing people of debt.
Those individuals have options, again, if they feel like they can demonstrate that they had confusion with regards to understanding how to properly report their wages, and then we can take steps to write that off.
As of September 26th, 218,000 Coloradans were relying on unemployment benefits to get by.
Never in our lifetime have businesses needed a break more than they do now. And that break could come in the form of repealing the Gallagher Amendment, which requires businesses to pay more in property taxes than homeowners. Therein lies the rub. Get rid of Gallagher, and the cost of saving the mom and pop shop down the street falls on your doorstep. Denver7 political reporter Megan Lopez takes this issue 360.
Everything's all done by hand.
If the story of small businesses is the bond that holds a community together,
I feel when you do it handmade, there's a certain sense of pride.
Denver Bookbinding is the glue.
We're the only company that does what we do under one roof in a 9-state area.
For 91 years,
we're doing more leather work.
This family business has been a staple.
We do a lot of book restorations, a lot of Bible restorations.
We get things that are worth nothing on paper, but worth a lot in a family.
This year, business hasn't been as good. Along with COVID-19, things are going digital these days.
We're waiting for the die plate to come in.
And co-owner Gail Lindley says property taxes aren't helping.
Taxes went up $12,000 just between last year and this year.
The increase is thanks to a 4-decade-old law known as the Gallagher Amendment. On November 3rd, voters will be asked to make the biggest change to Colorado's property tax structure in decades by repealing it. On the ballot for this Denver7 360, a business group, a former state lawmaker, Denver Bookbinding, and a homeowner. As a reminder, the Gallagher Amendment made it so that homeowners will never pay more in property taxes than commercial owners. They make up 45% of the burden statewide, while businesses make up the other 55%. To keep that balance, the assessment rates on homes have dropped from 21% in 1982 to 7.15% today, meaning a $400,000 house can only be taxed on $28,600 of its value. This year, that assessment rate is set to drop yet again to about 5.88%, since businesses aren't making as much in the recession. So for that same $400,000 house, only $23,500 would be taxable.
We have some of the lowest residential property taxes in the nation.
While the amendment has saved homeowners an estimated $35 billion over the years,
well, at the same time, business has remained at 29%.
Tony Gagliardi from the National Federation of Independent Businesses says it comes at a cost.
It's the devil in disguise to business. Businesses today pay 300 times more than residential. Business is paying far more than their share.
Some are closing down completely, like Racine's, which cited its $73,000 property taxes as a factor.
And Gallagher has outlived its usefulness. So we're asking the citizens of Colorado a favorable vote to repeal it.
Gagliardi insists that while a repeal will ease the burden on businesses,
it's not a tax increase. I want that message out there loud and clear.
Baloney. The whole goal is to raise home taxes eventually. It will freeze the residential property tax rate at 7.12% instead of allowing it to go to a lower rate, which to me is the same as a tax increase.
If there's one person who knows about the complexities of the Gallagher Amendment,
I'm Dennis Gallagher, and I was 2 terms in the Colorado House and 4 terms in the Colorado Senate.
It's the law's namesake.
I know Gallagher has some problems.
But Dennis Gallagher doesn't believe an outright repeal is the way to fix it, particularly during a pandemic.
Timing is everything in politics. This is not the time to be putting doubts in people's minds as far as their property taxes are concerned.
So even in retirement.
And this is the first sign that's been made in the campaign, and it's in my calligraphy.
He's fighting to protect his legacy.
I hope people will vote no on Amendment B.
After more than half a century in the same spot,
when the city and county of Denver presented us a tax bill of $50,000, we couldn't do it.
Denver Bookbinding was forced to relocate 7 years ago. This building on West 47th Avenue has been their new home ever since.
This is a 50 states travel journal that we're doing for a company.
But problems have a habit of finding their way back to you.
7 years ago, taxes started off at $13,000 a year, and currently the tax bill is $54,000.
So once again,
we're looking to move. We can't sustain the taxes in Denver, and it has been so stressful. I just think it's a shame that something that's got a Denver name on it can't stay in Denver because the costs are so outrageous.
They're hoping voters will choose to repeal Gallagher for the sake of small businesses.
We're not Amazon, we're not Walmart, we're Denver Bookbinding, and we want to stay.
So here's your assessed value. That's how they get to that value.
For homeowners like Kathleen Chandler,
and then this is how they get to your tax rate.
The Gallagher Amendment has provided an important lifeline in an increasingly expensive state.
So at the end, I pay the $126,955 mil.
She works for the Independence Institute and says Gallagher has kept people from being priced out of their homes. But it does affect areas differently. In places like Denver, where there are lots of businesses, the burden is spread out. But
if you have maybe 3 businesses in a very small community, those 3 businesses are having to pick up 55% of the taxes that are in that community. A lot of the smaller communities are very upset about what's going on up here in the Front Range.
So she agrees something needs to be done. She just doesn't think this is the right solution.
I think a regional approach is a much better avenue than just this one-size-fits-all.
And she's worried about who's going to get hurt by repealing it.
Seniors really are going to be the ones that are going to be most hardest hit.
For nearly 40 years, the Gallagher Amendment has helped Colorado residents. Those same residents will now vote on its fate, a fate that could affect businesses, schools, fire districts, and more around the state for years. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
Even 6.5 minutes isn't long enough to do the Gallagher Amendment justice, so part 2 of Megan's reporting airs tomorrow at 6 a.m. And now we want to hear from you. Let us know what you think about repealing Gallagher with an email to 360@thedenverchannel.com.
Senator Cory Gardner and former Governor John Hickenlooper will meet here tomorrow for their first televised debate. The conversation begins at 5 o'clock, ends at 6:30. I am moderating alongside journalists from Colorado Public Radio and The Post, and we hope you will join us. Need help understanding the issues? These kids can take you to school. That story after the break.